Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the class. Today we will discuss about group 14 elements. What are group 14 elements? Previously we used to say 4A elements. Carbon group is called as a group 14 elements. And in this group we have carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, and lead. In this group, we have carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, and lead. These are the members of this group. The most stable oxidation state. The most stable oxidation state for this group is +4. So carbon is in +4 oxidation state. Silicon most stable oxidation state is also +4. Similarly for germanium and tin. But for lead, the most stable oxidation state is +2. That means lead is always in a 2+ state. So it gives out 2 electrons easily and it will be in 2+ state. Whereas carbon, silicon, germanium and tin, they are stable in +4 state. That means they can easily give out 4 electrons and they can become silicon 4+, or germanium 4+, or tin 4+. Among these elements, carbon is a very, very important element because from carbon, we know organic chemistry has been evolved. Compounds containing carbon are called organic compounds. And from carbon chemistry is separately dealt as organic chemistry. So we don't discuss about carbon chemistry in this class. Carbon-carbon single bond is having around 154 picometers bond length. Carbon-carbon single bond length is 154 picometers. Whereas carbon-silicon bond length is 186 picometers. You may think that carbon-silicon bond length is very high, so this bond may be weak. Yes, in compounds where carbon-silicon bond is there, it is a weak bond, but except in a silicon carbide. This is called silicon carbide. Silicon carbide is very, very stable molecule and it is extremely hard silicon carbide is a very, very stable molecule. Though silicon carbon bond is a weak bond compared to carbon-carbon bond, but silicon carbide is a very, very stable bond. And here the bond strength is almost similar to carbon-carbon bond strength in silicon carbides. And one more point to add, in carbon-silicon bond, carbon is more electronegative than silicon. So electrons will be polarized towards carbon because carbon is more electronegative than silicon. You know what is electronegativity? The power of an atom to attract electrons in a bond towards itself. So in a bond, if one atom can attract the bonding electrons towards itself to some extent, then it is called more electronegative atom. Because carbon is more electronegative than silicon, in carbon-silicon bond, electrons will be polarized towards carbon. So this is represented by an arrow pointed towards carbon. And there were some important points for comparing carbon and silicon. Though carbon and silicon are in the same group, but silicon cannot form as much as a huge number of molecules like carbon, because carbon is having distinct properties than silicon. The first important point is carbon can undergo catenation. What is catenation? The power of an atom to form long chains of molecules. So carbon can form long chains like polymers or carbohydrates, whereas a silicon cannot undergo catenation power. And another important point is carbon-carbon double bond is possible. Carbon-carbon triple bond is also possible. Whereas silicon double bond is not possible. Believe me, silicon single bond itself is not possible. Silicon single bond itself, it is not possible. It is possible to some extent. So silicon also shows catenation to some extent, but it is not directly through silicon bonding. Whereas a carbon catenation, carbon will form long chains of molecules through carbon-carbon bonding like this. But silicon bond is not possible. Silicon catenation power is only through other atoms. Mostly it is through oxygen. So these are the differences between carbon and silicon. That is why carbon forms more number of elements or molecules than silicon. Dow Corning Corporation, which was established in 1943, they used to manufacture many silicon compounds. They used to manufacture around 5,000 products that is based on silanes, silicones, and polycrystalline silicon compounds. Silanes are very, very important materials. They are used as drying agents because they can easily react with the oxygen in the water. So they are used to remove moisture So they are used as moisture scavengers. They are also used as addition promoters. Addition means attraction between same substances. When we join two substances of same type, then that is called addition. The attraction between two same substances is called addition. So they promote addition, and it also acts as cross-linking agents that we will discuss during the synthesis of these compounds. And it is also used for pre-polymer end cap. This also we will discuss during the synthesis of silanes. A simple silane is tetrahydrosilane, where silicon is bonded to 4 hydrogens. It is a simple silane and it is a monomer because we have only one silicon atom in this group. Tetrahydrosilane. Now we can replace this hydrogen with many functional groups. For example, if we replace these hydrogens with 4 methyl groups, it is called tetramethylsilane. Tetramethylsilane. If we replace these 4 hydrogens with 4 ethyl groups, then we call it as tetraethylsilane. And particularly tetraethylsilane is the first compound based on silanes. It was discovered in 1863. Now we will look at synthesis of silanes. Silanes can be synthesized from Grignard reagents. In tetrachlorosilane, chlorine acts as a good leaving group. Chlorine acts as a good leaving group. Please turn off your videos. In a Grignard reagent, for example, methyl magnesium bromide, methyl methyl is negatively charged, magnesium bromide is positively charged. MgBr plus 2, Br minus, Mg plus 2, Br minus, altogether MgBr plus 1, CH3 minus. So this methyl group acts as a nucleophile and chlorine is a good leaving group. So when methyl group reacts with the silicon, one of the chlorine will be leaving. As a result, what we will get? We will get monomethyl trichlorosilane. What is this compound? Methyl trichlorosilane. So this is how we can synthesize silanes from Grignard reagents. Now, based on the ratio of these compounds, say in this case, if we use 1:1 ratio, one methyl group will substitute one of the chlorine. But if we use 1:2 ratio, then 2 methyl groups will substitute 2 chlorine groups in the silane. So what we will get? We will get dimethyl dichlorosilane. If we use 1:3 ratio, then we will get trimethyl chlorosilane. If we use 1:4 ratio, then all the 4 chlorine groups will be replaced with 4 methyl groups. What we will get is tetramethylsilane. Though it is a simple process, but it is not scalable. That means it is not applicable for industrial synthesis. We can use this method for small scale preparation. So it is a laboratory purpose. Now, a similar reaction method for the synthesis of organosilanes is from organolithium reagents. Organolithium reagents are also nucleophilic like Grignard reagents, but only thing is organolithium reagents are more nucleophilic compared to organo-Grignard reagents. What are organolithium compounds? This is called methyl lithium, where methyl is negatively charged, lithium is positively charged. We can have variety of compounds, methyl lithium, ethyl lithium, phenyl lithium. There are many compounds. Similarly, in Grignard reagents also, we have many Grignard reagents, methyl Grignard, ethyl Grignard, allyl Grignard, vinyl Grignard, phenyl Grignard. So when we treat this methyl lithium with tetrachlorosilane, then one of the chlorine will be replaced with methyl. So we will get methyl trichlorosilane and the lithium chloride. Here, the additional compound is lithium ion. Here, one of the Cl is leaving. So both will combine to give lithium chloride. Similarly, if we want a dimethylsilyl chloride, then we need to use 2 equivalents of methyl lithium. So it is similar to Grignard reagent. As I said, the only difference is it is more nucleophilic. More nucleophilic than Grignard reagents. That is the only difference. Though it is more nucleophilic than Grignard reagents, but again, this process is only for small scale process. So if we want to synthesize organosilanes in the laboratory, we can use any of these 2 methods because of their simplicity. But remember, these are not very facile. They cannot be applied for large scale synthesis. Raca direct process is used for the synthesis of silanes in industry. So large quantities of silanes can be synthesized using Raca method. So that is why it is used in industry. Here, silicon and methyl chloride are treated in the presence of a copper catalyst. We need to use very excess amount of copper catalyst, and we also need to use very high temperatures. Generally, in this process, what we get is dimethyl dichlorosilane. In this reaction, around 70% of the product is dimethylsilane. Now, if we use chlorobenzene instead of methyl chloride, we will get diphenyl dichlorosilane. Diphenyl dichlorosilane. And among other products, monomethyl trichlorosilane will be 10%. Trimethyl chlorosilane will be 5%. And the remaining will be tetramethylsilane and silicon tetrachloride. These are the byproducts. But the main product is dimethyl dichlorosilane. So this is used in industry. Another method of preparing silanes is addition of silanes to an alkene. When we treat an alkene with trimethylsilane, we don't need to represent the hydrogen in the nomenclature. So SiH4, we just said it is simple silane. Here it is trimethyl monohydridosilane, but we are not saying monohydride. It is trimethyl silane. What is the remaining? Silicon will have 4 bonds. We are showing only trimethyl. What is the remaining? It is hydrogen. Trimethyl silane. Generally, a silicon hydrogen bond will add to an alkene. Hydrogen will be added to one side of the alkene, one carbon in the alkene, and the silicon will be added to other carbon. So it generates CH2 is already there, and we are adding one more hydrogen. Here CH2 is there, and to that we are adding silicon, and silicon is having 3 methyl groups. So it is a trimethyl, sorry, first one should be ethyl, right? CH3, CH2, it is ethyl. According to alphabetical order, ethyl will come first. So ethyl, trimethyl silane. This is an indirect way of synthesizing silanes, but here we don't get uniform silanes, right? In the previous cases, we used to get only single alkyl substituent, but here you see 3 methyl groups and 1 ethyl group. So here, if we want different alkyl groups on silane, this is the best method.